Hey, what's up, everyone? That's going to be a review for episode 326 of Naruto Shippuden. Now, the episode started out a lot different than what I expected. It started out with Sasuke, which we actually haven't seen for a very long time. Now, he decided to test his new power by basically destroying the whole place and killing the Waizetsu in the process, which I'm pretty sure this is original and not a clone, and if it is the original, then, well, that's probably has ruined someone's plan in some way or form. But he pretty much destroys him, and it looks like he's getting ready to go somewhere, and I really can't wait to see what happens next with Sasuke. Now, we get back to the battlefield and everything, and as one of the tail beasts tried to attack, and it looked like it was going towards Eight Tails, it was actually going towards Obito, and Obito ended up having to chain up the thing and pretty much suppress its power because it looks like he does not have full control over them. And during that process, Killer Bee and the Eight Tails was pretty much able to hear its voice, the tail beast inside of it, and Naruto heard it too. And the Eight Tails got really, really mad because he was like, man, I really hate seeing this stuff happening to my own kind. It really ticks me off, kind of thing. So at least we get to actually see that. And as things start progressing, we got to a part where the Obito actually was looking at Kakashi specifically and said something interesting about Kakashi's eyes, which makes me really wonder and made me kind of feel like, are we about to get to the part where, Obito and Kakashi, start going at it or something? Probably not, but it really felt like it was that because it was very, very directive at Kakashi, and it was specifically about those eyes and everything. And we got to a part where the Eight Tails and the Nine Tails were both basically arguing back and forth, and Naruto was like, hey, I didn't know you guys could talk to each other. And it's like, well, it makes sense because, you could talk to the Eight Tails, Naruto, and I don't know if Killer Bee could talk to the Nine Tails, but we probably don't want to try that out. But it would kind of make sense for them to be able to talk to each other as well. But they were getting in a big argument and everything, and it was really, really getting tense. Kakashi and Bushiroad, I will say, that it looked like they were really, really having to put up their absolute best, or pretty high, and just to be able to actually fight against some of the tailed beasts and everything. And as one of the tailed beasts, started attacking and everything, after a while, Obito actually decided to, well, let's go ahead and bring out some more tailed beasts. So we brought out two more tailed beasts, including the Four Tails, and things really, really started getting tense and everything. And it was really, really crazy to see that. And one of the things I actually really liked seeing was that we got to a part where the Nine Tails actually started, having flashbacks of Naruto and everything. And it seemed like the Eight Tails was really going after the Nine Tails, really trying to get to him, try to, get through to him, not just argument-wise, but trying to get some points across or something, or asking Nine Tails questions like, why aren't you helping Naruto? And all that stuff and everything. And we got to some flashbacks, of the Nine Tails and, things that Naruto has said to him before that has somehow impacted the way, that Nine Tails looks at him. But we also saw some flashbacks later of how everyone has talked to the Nine Tails before him, before Naruto. And, how, how he felt before and just really, how everyone has really treated the Nine Tails, for so many freaking years. And, towards the end, we got to a part where, it showed what Naruto said a while back, about how he's going to come after the Nine Tails and all the anger inside of him, and try to save him, And it really was interesting to see that because, seeing, all the different ways that people treat him before, and then Naruto, it's definitely a huge, change and difference. And even though the Nine Tails really tries to keep himself away from him, I can kind of understand, since he's been really, really treated wrong for so many years, that, he's not going to, let himself, lower down just to try to collaborate or try to be nice at all because he's afraid he's going to get betrayed again in some way or form, or just, treated like crap because he's so used to being treated like crap. And, the Eight Tails was really trying to get through to him, and it really, seemed like, the Eight Tails was able to tell that, obviously you do at least think of something of Naruto, and it was really, really getting interesting. And right at the last second, after, the Nine Tails, having all the flashbacks and remembering everything, we got to a part where, he was just about to let Naruto give him a little bit extra chakra to try to help him out, because right now he's being eaten or kind of bitten on by pretty much the Four Tails. But it actually, when he gave him that power, I guess you could say he gave him too much power that, Naruto just suddenly just pushed its mouth open so much that he fell backwards into it. And that was actually quite a big surprise, But what was interesting is that he didn't actually end up going to the stomach exactly, which this is one of those things that's always been confusing. I always kind of wonder how this stuff happens, but it's just, it's not exactly one of those things that's straightforward. But when he actually got swallowed by the Four Tails, he didn't go inside the stomach, but he actually went to a place that's very identical to, the Nine Tails, the special place that, when he talks to the Nine Tails inside of him, when he has to confront him and everything, and where he fought him and everything to take some of his chakra and everything. And, it's a very similar place. And when he actually was talking to the Four Tails, the Four Tails was just kind of bashing him, because I guess you could say he's just so used to, everybody wanting power from him. He's like, what do you want? You want to take power away from me too? And all that stuff. And Naruto was just kind of sidetracked, like, where the heck am I? How do I get out of here? And I really found it interesting when the Four Tails was actually, he was able to tell that the Nine Tails is son of Naruto, and he told Naruto, his name and everything, and Naruto was like, "What? You guys have names?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And I find it interesting that his name was Son Goku, and he just happens to be, a gorilla or ape type of creature, and it's like, yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna move past that. But that was still just very interesting. And what I really did like is, that even though, after a while, he was being really hard on Naruto, because he's used to just being abused, he's just kind of, I don't know, he's just used to being pushed around and everything. And, after a while, of talking with Naruto and everything, he was able to, sense that, hey, this boy's different. And, of course, Naruto went into his flashbacks, and, just not exactly flashbacks, but, how he was treated when he was younger, just because he was a Jinchuriki and everything. And he started talking about, how he, he really, really, loves how, the Eight Tails and how Killer Bee can get along so well, and how he envies them and just how well they get along and everything. And, talks about, I guess you could say, kind of how he wants to go after the Nine Tails to create that type of bond or possibility. And, it really, really, changed the way, the Four Tails, looked at him, because he was so surprised. And, when he looked Naruto in the eyes, he's like, God, that kid is dead serious. And it really, really changed his perspective, and I really, really did like this. I really did find this interesting. And, I guess you could say at the very end, we got to a part where the Eight Tails, or the Four Tails, pretty much, was on, he felt enough with Naruto that he could trust him. So he pretty much told Naruto, like, hey, if you want to help me out, then you can help me by undoing these chains. And Naruto looked like he was very excited. He just looked so excited and happy about it. I guess you could say for Naruto as himself, his favorite part was probably learning what the Nine Tails name, which is Kurama, which is, I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty awesome, to finally learn the Nine Tails names. And of course the Nine Tail got mad, like, dang it, you Four Tails, why did you have to tell him my name? So I'd give this episode overall a 4.6 out of 5. I feel like it was a pretty good episode. The animation was pretty good. There was quite a lot of action. And we finally got to see Sasuke. It's been a very long time, and I still really can't wait to see what actually happens with him and everything, and where he's actually going and what's going to happen. And we actually got to see, I guess you could say, not the Nine Tails exactly open up, but we got to see, him at least start to look back at all the things that Naruto has said and done, and how he's treated him differently than the rest, and he's starting to I guess you could say, consider things. So we're not to the opening up part, but we're, he's at least able to, he understand things and really just, realize things more. And I'll still find it very interesting that Obito was looking directly at Kakashi and said something about the eyes, and I was like, oh god, I really feel like they're about to fight each other directly. But I know it's a bit of ways, but, it was still very interesting to actually see that. And man, Kakashi and Bushibear are really, really having to be at their top game. Just be able to fight against some tailed beasts. That's some really, really hard stuff, but, of course, Kakashi still hasn't quite went all the way, but the fact that he made a clone and used his lightning style, that was actually pretty awesome to see. So there was quite a bit of action, actually, and it was still interesting to see, so many tailed beasts being unleashed and everything, and it was still, at least the good thing to hear is that he doesn't have full control over the tailed beasts, at least Obito doesn't, and that's a really, really good thing to know and everything. And, just overall, everything was really great. There was a lot of emotional stuff and a lot of stuff that really happened that was pretty deep at the end. And there was quite a bit of good action and everything. And there were some interesting things, to look forward to, such as the whole thing with Sasuke and how Obito looked at Kakashi and said something about them eyes. And I'm like, is he about to do something? Is things about to get real with them too? But yeah, we'll just have to wait to see. But anyways, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks again, guys, for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video.